I'm Andrea Hoffman with UFTV, bringing you an inside look into the Oiler women's lacrosse program. Today I'm here alongside head coach Beth Hemminger, along with junior attacker Tessa Chuba and defender Brinlee Barry. Coach, this is your first season leading the Oilers as the head coach, but you got to spend last year as the assistant coach. So you're not entirely new to the program, but how do you think this year of experience has helped you go into this new year and create that transition to be smooth?
I think I'm really fortunate in the sense that I think Coach Long did a great job of kind of pushing this program in the right direction. So I'm really lucky in that sense. I think we ended in a good spot. I think we have some key contributors, obviously, coming back, which I think is really important because we lost, about 8 girls to graduation, and, we have 14 freshmen, so we're very young.
Tessa, you've been a standout player for this team for the past 2 years. In 2023, you won GMAC Freshman of the Year. This past season, you won GMAC Attacker of the Year. So how do you continue to elevate your game and set a strong example for your teammates to play at this level?
I think it just 100% comes from knowing that my teammates are there for me and I have to be there for them. And I wouldn't have been able to do this without my past teammates that helped me win Freshman of the Year, my past teammates last year that helped me win Attacker of the Year. And I think it's just I need to focus on the fact that we are a team and we make mistakes as a team, we succeed as a team, and I can't let things fall on myself. I can't let other people think that things are falling on themselves and they people get in their heads and stuff. So I think it's just huge that we have to come together as a team and we help each other succeed.
Oh, Tessa Chuba takes it away with a great stick check. She scores. She cashes in the turnover, and Chuba has a hat trick in the opening quarter.
Brinlee, you've also been a very influential player on the team on the defensive side of the ball, though. So you were picked for first team all-conference honors, but this will be your first year not under goalie Olivia Bukowski. So how has that transition been? And, you have these 2 years of experience. So how are you helping that big freshman class, get used to playing under, a new goalie and even at this higher level now?
Yeah, for sure. I think building rapport is huge, getting to know the girls both on and off the field, knowing how they play, but also how they are as humans. So I kind of can help guide them in that sense where I know who needs advice and who doesn't need advice, if they just need to be listened to or if they want my opinion. Kind of just guiding them in that sense, almost taking the big sister role to them, but also helping them on the field, pushing them to become stronger and more intense and getting the intensity of this collegiate level.
Coach, last season ended in a tough loss against Walsh with a 1-point deficit there. This Walsh team and the GMAC title is always a big talking point for you guys, but you guys have a long ways to go until that game. So what are some things that you guys have been preparing for every game leading up to that point to get you, to finally get that title in your hands again?
It's one thing at a time. It's a long way to get to that point. I think last year, maybe they were sick of it, but I said we got to take care of the little things. It's the little things that matter. It's discipline as well, and I think, last year was super bittersweet, but I think they recognize it's those little things that are really important. We have a lot of talent, we are young, but it's also now learning how to kind of manage those emotions in those high-intensity games.
Tessa and Brinlee, you both are under a unique experience here with Madeline Shoebridge, one of your old teammates now coaching you guys. How is this, a little bit different for you, seeing her at this higher level? How has that been, that transition into her playing a coaching role now for you guys?
So at first it was really weird because me and her worked together a lot on the field. We were very back and forth. She assisted a lot of my goals and I always looked to her for stuff. But as the season has gone on, as the fall went on, I think that she's really, really stepped up into that coaching role. You could tell at first she was kind of nervous because she played with just under half of us last year. And now she's super confident and she's super knowledgeable and she's always telling people hey, tweak this, or hey, look for this. And you're oh yeah, I didn't even realize that. She can just see the field so well, and again, she's really stepped up.
I think building onto that, we actually were just talking about this yesterday. It's a different dynamic than what a lot of teams have. She came here, she transferred here, and she fell in love with it. So I think for the recruiting aspect, that's super nice to have a coach who went here and gone through it. For my sake, I actually guarded Chewy a lot in practice the last 2 years, so she knows my weaknesses, and so it's super helpful to have her on the other side, kind of being like, hey, you used to do this, like, try this approach now, like, I beat you this way, not like all cocky or anything, but just she knew how to beat me, so like now taking that and kind of like building on that is definitely a great aspect to have, and is helping grow my game.
Brinlee Barry with the goal there.
Coach leadership is always a very important thing for any team success. You guys graduated a lot of influential seniors, which you talked about earlier, and you don't have any seniors this year, so your juniors are having to step up into that role. How do you think this junior class has helped lay the framework for the future success of this program?
I think because of the last 3 years, kind of what they've been through, it's given them, insight in terms of what it takes to be successful, the discipline, the expectations, and I think this group just really, really wants to win. I think I wouldn't necessarily say they've been considered like the underdogs, but they kind of have that mentality. They go out, they fight, they dig, they're gritty. I don't think I've ever seen them kind of give up. We've had some tough games in the past, but they've found a way to overcome that, which is really exciting for me to see, and I think that hopefully transcends to the younger girls, because I do think that transition from high school to college isn't always easy. The pace, the play, what it takes to be disciplined, to be that student athlete, and they've kind of been through it, so I think that's something that we definitely look to utilize this year, but it's also exciting to have these freshmen come in because they're hungry too, and they're competitive too, and they're fighting for spots. And, I see a lot of them making impacts right away for sure. I think they've created a lot of versatility to this team, which is exciting. Tessa has a lot on her shoulders, especially last year, and now she has support around the ball, which is a lot of fun, and I think it's going to be really hard to stop this year. So.
Awesome. So, Brinlee, you've got to step into this role as a leader a little bit early since you are a junior, but you've also got to experience 2 seasons on the lacrosse field, almost 3 years in the classroom. So how does this experience really help you connect with your freshmen? I mean, you talked about a little bit about it earlier, but how do you think you can really relate to them and kind of step into that role a little bit earlier than maybe you would have expected?
Yeah, for sure. So like you said, in the classroom, I work with students from freshman year to senior year, so I kind of see them going through the stages of that maturity. They're slowly starting to mature, and same with our freshmen here. They're coming here being the best of the best, and they're not used to having to compete at this high level, like Coach said, you're competing for playing time and stuff. So just really seeking them out, and as I said earlier, listening to them and knowing stuff's gonna happen both on and off the field, so they just need to work themselves through it. And just giving them advice and telling them everything is going to work out. It's going to be hard. You're going to have challenges. But at the end of the day, you're where you need to be, and you're surrounded by people who love you for a lacrosse player, but also as a person.
Tessa, we talked earlier about the goal of winning that GMAC title, but you guys have plenty of lacrosse left to be played, like we talked about. But what are some things and other goals that you guys have been working on to really get yourself in that position to succeed throughout the season and not just at the end?
We actually had a meeting, I think it was a couple weeks ago, we had our goal meeting, and we really nailed down on cause turnovers and shooting percentage and stuff like that. But I think the biggest aspect is the discipline and really hammering down on those little things that come into play in that that last game, that GMAC championship. The past 2 years, those are the things that killed us, was the little things, the unforced turnovers, throwing the balls up, the ball out of bounds and stuff. And we really want to, again, hammer down on that this year, and I think that's our biggest goal, is to just be disciplined and cohesive and win it all.
Thank you, ladies, and good luck with the rest of your season. This has been your inside look into Oiler women's lacrosse here on UFTV.